Well, here's a question for you. Do you know if you're being paid the right amount of superannuation? SBS Finance editor Ricardo Goncalves is here. Ricardo, it seems plenty of people are missing out.
Yeah, Janice, how many of us have actually checked to make sure A, we're being paid the right amount of super, and B, if any super is going into our accounts at all? Well, the Australian Tax Office says that as many as 11 to 20% of employers could be non-compliant with their superannuation guarantee obligation. Now, that's the 9.5% of your earnings that is put towards your nest egg by your employer. And that means many workers are being robbed of their retirement.
Serkan Ozturk wasn't paid superannuation by a previous employer for as long as 15 months.
By the time I lost my job there, I was fired, I was owed about $7,000.
Other colleagues alerted him to the shortfall.
I had a look at my own super fund and the level it was at and noticed it hadn't moved for quite a while, and I raised those concerns with my direct managers and editors at the time.
He eventually got what he was owed after he put up a fight. Last year, total employer contributions totalled $77 billion, but it should have been a lot higher.
Probably about $2.5 billion a year lost and affecting 650,000 workers across Australia.
The Australian Tax Office says non-compliance is endemic, especially in small businesses and industries where a large number of cash transactions and contracting arrangements occur.
We recently had a company that was a textile company where there were 3 workers that joined the union. The company had been in operation for 20 years. These workers had been working there for about 3 and had received not a cent in superannuation.
The TCFUA says employees of companies which fall into administration are often also left shortchanged.
This is something that we see week in, week out, all over Australia.
For every year someone is affected by superannuation guarantee non-compliance, their retirement income is reduced by 2% on average.
But it's low income, non-English speaking background and young members most at risk. A 25-year-old, for example, impacted by superannuation guarantee non-compliance for 5 years, loses about 14% of their retirement income or $8,000 a year.
The TCFUA wants more action.
We need tougher corporations law that holds directors of companies liable and responsible for the underpayment or the non-payment of super.
In the meantime, workers need to be more vigilant.
They can usually check on their pay slip, but they can also certainly make contact with their super fund and just check that the money's going in.
If not, raise it with your employer or lodge an inquiry with the ATO. Now, a few months ago, we told you about a Chinese-led initiative called the Asian Investment Infrastructure Bank, and today we received confirmation Australia will become a founding member and will contribute $930 million into it over the next 5 years, making it the 6th largest shareholder.
And we will be doing so because it provides massive new opportunities for Australia to join with 56 other countries as founding members in building the essential infrastructure for Asia, which will facilitate more trade in agriculture, in resources and ultimately in services that will be to the great benefit of everyday Australians.
OK, let's take a look at the share market now, which lost a bit of steam in the afternoon but still managed to finish higher, only just by the end of trade. Big Miners finished lower. Of the banks, the CBA did best. Mine didn't move. It refinanced more than $500 million of debt. In Japan, the Nikkei continued to rise and is now at an 18-year high. Shares on Wall Street closed in the black. One Australian dollar currently buys 77.3 US cents and is firmer across the other major global currencies. On the commodity markets, gold is down while oil is up. And that's the day in finance.
Thanks, Ricardo. Coming up.